Tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah. 8 nights of winning insights.
Like they may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today, they cover. So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid. In the heart of winter, when nights grow long, we come together under these lights. A team, united by purpose. Fans, bound by passion. Each holding a small flicker of hope in their hands. At SportsGrid, we believe that even the darkest nights can't dim the unity we share. One team, one stadium, one shining moment. This holiday season, we shine brighter together. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
Man, welcome in. It's in-game live game day. Scott Wetzel alongside Dave Sharapan on this terrific Thursday, and it just got a little brighter moments ago as Notre Dame disposes of big, bad, nasty Georgia. So the semifinals are set. We're here until 10 p.m. Eastern time. We'll talk about that. We got some college basketball stuff. We got some NBA, full slate of hockey tonight, so a lot of bets that we'll make over the next 2 glorious hours, Mr. Sharapan. But we are set. Notre Dame versus Penn State. Lines are out. We'll get to that in a second. And obviously Ohio State versus Texas. How you doing, my friend? Happy holidays.
I am fantastic. It's the first in-game live of 2025.
Yes.
Game day for us. So I'm fired up. Literally just got off the plane. Was down in Arizona. Picked up this nice little lid right here. Fiesta Bowl lid with the underbill. I mean, the little logo. Penn State. I got my full bore of everything. Tailgating, bowl game, band, all of it, Wetzel. I'm fired up. I'm all in. And dogs right now. Right there. Dogs to Notre Dame. Initial numbers out. Boy, oh boy. Can we just pour one out for the SEC a little bit today? Right now? Just for them. Because the SEC, it just means more. They only got one team left. There's 2 Big Ten teams and Notre Dame. Boy, oh boy. Penn State or Notre Dame is going to play for the national championship of college football. Wow.
Yeah. I didn't think one of these lower seeds were going to get through, although if one was going to me, it would have been Ohio State. But no one had to go through Oregon. But I thought for sure those, 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds had the clear advantage not having to play in week number 1, but they're all gone. They're all gone. Notre Dame beats Georgia. Listen, I'm the biggest Notre Dame fan you'll find. So,
oh really?
But even I will say that they were helped out with the quarterback. He was limited. Listen, you can't blame him. He's a 4-star kid. No doubt he'll be great when everything is said and done, but virtually no experience. It just shows, how bad Texas was that they lost to this kid. But they were helped out. They couldn't throw the ball. They simply couldn't throw the ball. They couldn't run the ball. They really couldn't move the ball outside of a couple of drives there in the second half. So would Notre Dame won if Carson Beck was playing? I don't know. Maybe. Probably not, though, honestly. But still, Irish aren't returning it, that's for sure.
Wait, you buried the lead in all of this. You're a Notre Dame fan? I can't
Oh, yeah.
find a bigger Notre Dame fan than you?
Well, maybe you probably could, but, yes, I'm a Notre Dame fan. You knew that, didn't you? Notre Dame and
Well,
Nebraska. And now
now
Boston
I
College
know
because
it.
my daughter's there.
Yeah. Now I know it. Now the world knows it. Everyone that's watching, right here and all the different platforms. Thank you for doing so. I don't know. Are we going to talk all week? I mean, like this is gonna get heated. We're going to be together now. Today, tomorrow, next week. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of things to, solve. Not just tonight with the in-game live stuff, but yeah, this is good. We're going to have to make a friendly wager on this thing. I think it's a pick'em game, and you'll look good in the Penn State Navy if they win, and I think I'll end up with an Irish jersey, the green jersey maybe. We might have to make a bet on this. Yeah.
And Notre Dame wins the first salvo here as they are a slight favorite, not by a lot, but I was curious to see what the line would be. FanDuel anyway has them at -1.5. I'm sure the books vary, but opening round Notre Dame -1.5, over under 46.5. Your thoughts on that?
It's the right number. I think right now you have to make the team that everybody saw last the favorite. Especially they just beat Georgia. I mean, Penn State only beat Boise State, and they didn't do so impressively, and they weren't covering until the end when they were, and then they did. But I don't know. Marcus Freeman just, went up more notches. I mean, he was already, I really respected him, and I love what he's doing there. But, there's already people on the socials and stuff talking about how he outcoached Kirby Smart. So, how could he not outcoach James Franklin? When you start to look at the different things, I think you got to give Notre Dame the edge on a neutral. It's going to be down in Florida, grass field. I don't know. I think that helps both teams to get this game off the turf. That's good. And, I mean, the other matchup's going to be incredible, too. You saw Ohio State, what they did yesterday in the Rose Bowl. My goodness.
That was amazing.
Wetzel, are they the team to beat? They're the team to beat. I mean, they're everybody's favorite. I mean, every sports book in the world got 4 teams left on the board, and Ohio State is the clear favorite of anybody.
Yeah. In fact, that Ohio State line went down with the Notre Dame. I'm going to assume with the Notre Dame win. At least it's down from yesterday. Yesterday, Ohio State to win it all was +125 on FanDuel. Now, did it flip with the Notre Dame win? You know what? I'm not positive about that. All I do know is now they're only +110. So if you put that in a parlay, they're basically a 6-point favorite against Texas. That tells me that they expect them to be a 6-point favorite over the winner of Notre Dame Penn State. And you know what's interesting? Notre Dame is the second choice right now at +340. Penn State is the fourth choice at +460, a full 120 points more. Yet the Notre Dame Penn State game is basically pick 'em. So they're giving Notre Dame, if they were to win, a better chance against Ohio State, Texas than Penn State. That's kind of interesting,
100%.
Right?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense when you talk it out. And I mean, it's clear that of the 4 teams, Penn State's the worst of the 4 in odds makers' eyes and in people's eyes. I mean, the Penn State 2-game parlay, dog, right? They're going to be, they were 3-point dogs at Penn State. So on a neutral in Atlanta on turf, they're going to be at least 6. I would be surprised. I think you could put it as high as 7 and maybe get a Penn State bet, but it's going to be a lot higher than, or the same as it is with Texas. I think that number is a lot closer. We'll see. Again, making the number in advance without knowing the injuries and the different things. I don't know. When you saw Ohio State yesterday, the number kept going up. Like there were people putting it out like, oh, Ohio State against Texas, 2.5, even pick them. There's no planet Earth that would have had Texas favored. But as they kept scoring and that margin kept getting bigger, it was like, guys, we got to put this thing 4.5, I think, 4.5 or 5. And then all the initial money went on Ohio State. That thing touched 7 in some places yesterday. Settled 6.5, and now today it's 6. So I don't know. I'm happy with this result. Are you happy with this result? I mean, we got a week to talk about it. I'm very happy with it.
I was going to say, what would have been if this was only a 4-team playoff and not a 12-team? I think, Ohio State would have been in there. Texas would have been in there. Oregon would have been in there, but you couldn't have done that because it was Ohio State versus Oregon. So you're only going to get one of the two. Would Notre Dame been one of the Final Four teams?
No.
Would Penn State?
I don't think so. I mean, you might have to decide between one of those
State,
two.
Texas, Oregon, and then
who
would have been the fourth team?
Are they going to allow 2 Big Ten teams in? Oregon beat Penn State in the championship game.
That's true.
In years past, that was a ticket out. That meant you weren't in the playoff. So then how do you reward Ohio State for getting in with not even getting to their championship game? They're not even in, right? It's Oregon.
Probably.
It's
Oregon,
Texas.
Right.
It's
but
probably
Texas lost to
Notre
Georgia.
Dame.
Would they have put Texas in? Would Georgia beating them in the SEC championship game?
No. There you go. We'll debate this more on the other side. It's going to be crazy to think about. Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Like, I'm not surprised. We never really discussed that. Everything was like, only 12 and who's debating on who's going to be the 12th or 11th team in or 13th team out. But who would have been the 4? I think they probably would have gotten you right. Maybe only one right. Maybe probably 2. Probably 2.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
They may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today. They cover.
So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480? I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Taking a look at the college scene, both football and basketball, a little NBA, a little hockey tonight as well. So a lot to dive into over the next 2 hours or so. We got plenty of guests also. Mike Bluey coming up bottom of the hour. We got Jeff Dawson coming up next hour, and our good buddy, obviously, Cam Stewart, who joins us all the time at 9:44. So plenty of things. Just kind of recapping Notre Dame's win over Georgia. They advanced 23-10. Game goes under. Favorite, actually, it did flip, Dave. I was a little surprised at that. You wonder why these things, like supposedly the big-time bettors wait until the end. Like, what was it, do you think, that made Georgia go from a 1.5 favorite to a 1.5 dog? Not a big move, but, a move just the same. We've had plenty of time to, week and a half to delve into this game. But then the last day, the day of the game, basically, the game flips and makes the Irish a favorite. Somebody do something, I guess, right?
Well, no, they take both sides of the game. When it's 1.5, it's the bane of one of many bane of the book's existence. You sit there, they take the plus money on the other side, earlier, and then they flip the favorite and they wait to see if it'll go even higher, and then they get plus money on both sides before the game. So they earn either way. Started off that way, and then I think today the pile on Notre Dame, don't know exactly why, but that moved it back and it stayed there. So there was no Georgia money today. I saw that while I was sitting in the airport in Arizona, which, by the way, I was in a different state for the first time in a little while. You can't even believe the amount of ads and push notifications and things you get. I felt like you up at the beach house in New York or New Jersey, constant barrage of ads and things and bets and different promo boosts and all this stuff. I was like, I don't even know how you guys keep all this straight. It's just nonstop. But yeah, it was that way. So, good for those guys. They had plus 110 on both sides before the game starts. And then you could kind of add to that position as you go, but there wasn't any lead changes. I mean, Notre Dame got the lead, and that was it. It was a wrap up, and it was 20-10. And I thought, it's not over. It's not over the total, but it's over. Speaking of games, did you know Duke and Ole Miss are playing right now? Duke and Ole Miss just started. Yeah.
Yeah. 17, 18-point favorite was Ole Miss. I didn't follow this game. I'm guessing there are a lot of players on the Dookie Pukies that decided not to play today because that line jumped way up. I know they were double-digit dog anyway, but not that high. These bowl games are so goofy. So I played the under, 10-1 under Ole Miss last 11 games. But that's how could you bet that, right? Laying 18.5 in a bowl game. Oh, look at that interception.
Yeah, interception in the end zone by Duke. And he almost got halfway down the field. So flip field position. So, yeah, this is now these bowls now that are left. It has been a silly bowl season. A lot of fun. The games have been great as far as, action, this, that, whatever. There's been a lot of lead changes, good endings, bad endings, all this stuff. Been pretty entertaining. But these bowl games now, after what we just saw on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and today, I got to tell you, I mean, tomorrow we got North Texas and Texas State and the Mayo Bowl, Minnesota, Virginia Tech, we'll be on for that one. Buffalo and Liberty on Saturday. There's going to be some real interesting bowl game. The handle is almost nothing. It's almost like it. I don't want to say fatigue, but listen, you're really good at this job. How are we going to hype up Buffalo and Liberty on Saturday? Huh?
See,
I mean, you're going to have to find some friends.
Yeah, it used to be, right, that the longer you got into the bowl season, the better the games were. It was like climbing up a ladder, and you get deeper into the season, you get all the meaningless games out of the way, and you got the better games later on. But clearly that's not the case now, as we have, as you mentioned, Buffalo versus Liberty Saturday morning, before the NFL kicks in. And then even tomorrow we got North Texas versus Texas State. I mean, the big thing used to be, okay, we're playing on New Year's Day. That was such an honor, or later. And now it's just like, it's funny because I actually look forward to these games now, because now we got a little bit of a reprieve. We know who's going to be in the Final Four. We got a week and a half off. Now let's enjoy these bowl games and not think about Notre Dame or Georgia or Texas or Ohio State or whoever. But then what's left for us? Minnesota Va Tech and North Texas, Texas State tomorrow. So, it's not.
But tonight you get an 18.5 point spread. That's what this Ole Miss closed against Duke. Tomorrow you got Texas State and North Texas, a 13.5-point spread. At least a total 62. Sounds like an entertaining football game. Maybe bet the over. Minnesota, Virginia Tech, a 9-point favorite for Minnesota and a 42-point total. That one might be a snooze fest. That's the Mayo Bowl in North Carolina. Do you like mayonnaise?
I didn't, but I do actually now. I never did.
What you do? What does that even mean?
I don't know. I'm a big syrupy guy, like gravy, syrup, ketchup, condiments, so I always excluded, mayonnaise. But then I started throwing it on sandwiches. Like, okay, yeah, you know what? I mix it with a ketchup, a little special sauce, which is all that special sauce is ketchup and mayonnaise. The big secret when you're growing up. Ooh, what's this special sauce? It's ketchup and mayonnaise. Real ingenious. So I started doing that. I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, why not? You know what? And also, my wife would bring home tuna fish for her job in chicken salad because she works at a hospital. Long story, and it would be so dry. So you have to, use the mayonnaise. So I got mayonnaise not bad. I wouldn't want to dropped over my head like these coaches,
Never.
but
Never. I would never want it dropped over my head. I don't care if I win the bowl game. I'm putting the assistant coach in there to get that thing. I'll have Vinny do it. I don't know if Vinny likes mayonnaise or not, but Vinny might do it. We might get Matty D to do it. Somebody else got to step up. I can't stand mayonnaise. I don't like it on anything at all. I don't need no mayonnaise. Nope. No mayonnaise for me. I'm out.
All right, we'll get more into this, but bigger handle, Notre Dame, Penn State, or first-round NFL playoff game? Talk about it next.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
They may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today, they cover. So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480? I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this bet than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Little SGP, same game parlay time. All right, great hockey board tonight. Boy, I really do love a lot of plays, especially the late games that we'll get into here in a bit. But first up, a little SGP. We'll go to the ice. We'll go to Calgary, where the Flames, for some reason or another, are home underdogs to Utah. I don't get that at all. You talk about dopey lines. The Ute Jazz, pick a nickname, hockey club has lost 5 in a row, not to mention, they're Utah. So I'll take Calgary plus the 105. I'm going to take a goal first 10 minutes. I think both teams will come out flying after having a little bit of a layoff. Little juice there, minus 156, but that's okay. We'll go with Nazem Kadri, the best player for Calgary. 3 shots on goal. Again, crazy. A juice, minus 260, which is ridiculous. But he averages 3.5, so I'll take it. I'll go with Backlund, 2 shots on goal. Again, juice, minus 370, but he averages 3. And then we'll take on the Utah side, I was going to say Arizona side, but Utah side, Clayton Keller, 2 shots on goal as well, minus 380. Add it all up, and you're getting basically a pick'em team at plus 6.5 to 1. Not bad.
It's really not bad at all. I was anticipating when I heard during the break that you were coming with the same game parlay that you'd be on Utah, and
no,
we're going to have to remind everybody in 2025 that what we've been reminding everybody at least every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, now that we're back on Thursdays, this week at least. A great man, very smart. And one of his many things that he says in the space is that winners bet on streaks and losers bet against streaks. This one is pretty clear right here. There's only 1 plus on there. The rest of those look pretty solid. I think you'll actually hit all of those. So the only real sweat is whether Calgary wins the game and they continue the streak. This looks good. I like this. I like it.
Why are they a home underdog? Or
They're
maybe
bad.
pick them in some circles.
They're terrible. Bad hockey team.
They're not terrible.
They're terrible. Calgary.
They got a better record than Utah. They got 43 points. The Utes, if you will, have 38. Utah's lost 5 in a row. I could see, like, when Utah was playing well about 2 weeks ago, then, okay, I get it. But they've lost 5 in a row, and now they're a road favorite?
Backup goalie, maybe, situation? I mean, you want to make Calgary a favorite?
Probably a backup goalie. Calgary, by the way, at home. I found a new website for some great hockey trends.
Ooh, right.
I'd give it out, but that's like asking someone for their contacts, so I can't do that.
Right. Yeah, you can't do that. No.
Yeah, but I will tell you, Calgary against the Flames or against the hockey. What do you want to call it? Pick a name. And you know what?
The HC. Just call them the
Coyotes.
HC.
They're going to be the Coyotes. Until you get a real name, you're still the Arizona Coyotes to me, right? So there you go.
Right.
Calgary versus the Coyotes, 10-2 their last 12. 10-1 at home against the Coyotes last 11. And Calgary, as mediocre as they've been playing, still win their favorites as they are tonight. Well, actually, they're not a favorite tonight. Never mind. I was going to say 12-2. Last 14 as favorites, but they're actually dogs tonight. But still, Utah has lost to Calgary 10 of the last 11 in Calgary and 10 of the last 12 overall. And now they're going to be a slight favorite?
Yeah.
Something stinks in Denmark.
Okay. Well, there you go. All right. So that's fine. We'll see. I hope you win. I hope you start off New Year's with a dub. That's like the kids say. Let's get a dub. Let's get to the window, like Walsh says, and let's get a dub. That sounds good. Well, we know this one before we're off the air. No. We'll know the first period.
Well, yeah, first period. If we don't get a goal, we will. So
okay. All right. Vinny, if we get any goals in this game, we need the goal horn. See if we can still have that button ready to go. All right.
They dropped the first puck top of the hour. So we'll get a good hour of it. So I really did like a whole bunch of hockey plays here tonight. We put them all down. Yeah, this was a dangerous night. Dangerous night, if you play a lot. Because the dopey Rangers were one of them. 2-1. All right, Boston scored. All right, so we have a shot there. Love the over Detroit Columbus. 3-2. Like this website I found. Pretty good. Great trends on the over. It's 3-2 now, but where is it? 14-6 over. Where the hell are my stats here? They're somewhere. Oh yeah, 8-3 over last 11 between the two. Columbus 17-4 over their last 21 home games. How about that?
Well, we'll talk about that after we talk to Blewett, who's coming up next. I can't wait to see Mike.
Bingo. College and football, NFL talk for Monday.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
Like, they may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today. They cover.
So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480? I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all morning.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
Yeah, this is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave for another hour and a half or so, talking some college football, lit up NFL with the next guest. You see him here all the time, one of our colleagues here at SportsGrid, Mike Blewett, to the program. Mike, Scott, and Dave, what's going on, my friend? And celebrating a Notre Dame nice 13-point win over Georgia. I hope you had an ND ticket tonight, did you?
I did have an ND ticket. I liked them on the way in. I just felt like I don't know that I expected it to play out exactly the way it did. These teams match each other's styles a little bit, but Notre Dame obviously much bigger plays on the field tonight. It was a funky win in that Riley Leonard goes 15 of 24 or 14 of 25, for 90 yards and a touchdown. Not exactly a huge performance, but one key for him tonight and moving forward is that he's making plays with his legs. So the 65 yards on the ground, picks up a couple of big first downs late, and Georgia didn't do anything offensively. So kudos to Notre Dame. I think this is all over but the crying. Dave, you have a shot. You have another shot at Ohio State, it feels like, in a couple of weeks.
Oh, whoa. You're already advancing the ball. You think Penn State beats Notre Dame? Wetzel.
I just said they have a shot. I just said they have a shot. They have a shot.
Wait, this is two Irish fans now ganging up on me? Is this what's happening right now? I mean, between you, Wetzel, Walsh. I mean, I can't wait to see all the Notre Dame love come out. Carver. Like, the whole grid is going to be Notre Dame guys. Mike?
Listen, I'm a good Irish Catholic kid, but as a Boston College alum, it would be absolutely blasphemous for me to consider myself a Notre Dame fan. I am not a Notre Dame fan. I was a fan for 3 hours today holding a ticket.
Fine. That's fine. Are you surprised by the number? Notre Dame's a small favorite. And did they throw up a total yet? It's got to be low, boys. It's got to be like 46, 47.
46 and a half. 46 and a half.
Still got it. I love it. Still got it. That's good. The game's going under. Tell you that right now. Did you
You'll
take anything away? What did you take away from Penn State, Mike, in the Fiesta Bowl, or were you out partying on New Year's Eve? What were you doing? I know you watched the game.
Big party. Yeah, big partier. No, I watched the whole thing. So I think that you and I discussed it pre-game the other day. I just felt like Boise wasn't really going to have the horses for that. I'd like to make sure that Abdul Carter can be healthy for the next round. I think that's obviously, he came out of the game the other night. That'll be a really important thing for them to be able to pressure Leonard in the way that Georgia put pressure on him tonight. But again, this is not what Notre Dame is going to be about. They had some big hitter plays, but this is about containing their ground game. And this might be the kind of 2.5-hour football game where both teams are trying to establish the run and we're churning clock pretty quickly. It'll be up to Aller to make some big plays, right? It's going to come down to him and Leonard and who's making bigger plays. I think the running games can effectively cancel themselves out. And I think you're right. I think it's low scoring. These running games are not dominant enough to run over these defenses.
To me, Mike, there's really only one team that doesn't have any flaws. Notre Dame can't throw the ball, and sooner or later, and I'm an Irish fan, sooner or later that's going to come back to haunt them. You can't win football games throwing for 90 yards like they did. Penn State, Aller, he sucks. Texas, Ewers, he blows. I don't know why Manning's not playing. The only team that really doesn't have a flaw to me is Ohio State. They're the overwhelming favorite to win it all. I mean, do you see anyone except if I gave you Ohio State in the field, would you take the field or Ohio State?
No, Ohio State, a significant bet on Ohio State. I think at this point, even if you put the field against me, I don't really see any way. The irony is that the team that they're playing next, if everyone's playing their best, Texas has the best shot to knock off Ohio State, but they are not playing their best. Ewers is not playing his best. I don't know that Ewers is healthy still, and I think it puts Ohio State in a great position. The irony for Michigan fans, they'll get to crow about that game for the rest of their lives, but them beating Ohio State actually put Ohio State in a better position than they would have had they beaten them, because Ohio State was far too prideful and worried about establishing their physical traits as opposed to just playing into their strengths, which is throwing it all over the field to the best receiving core in the country and probably the best receiver in the country in Jeremiah Smith, a guy that's already NFL ready and he's only 19 years old. So that is the irony of it. Michigan can pat themselves on the back for it, but I really think it was the wake-up call that Ohio State needed, and they've absolutely murdered two opponents, one of whom was an undefeated number one team in their own conference. So I'd have to see something really special out of one of these teams in order to beat Ohio State, but they're college kids. There's a layoff here. It's hard to motivate them in the same way that you can motivate professional football players.
What you have to also look at as well in that game is the over. It's going to go over. It's probably going to go way over. It's in the 50s, where I still can't decide right now what is the A side and the B side, because I really think the Notre Dame Penn State is going to be a week's worth of content. I mean, growing up in Pittsburgh and being a Pitt guy and then going to Penn State, I can't stand Notre Dame. But I was hoping they won today, because I think that Penn State's got a better chance against Notre Dame than they would have against Georgia, to be perfectly honest. So maybe be careful what I wish for. We'll see. But, Mike, you're a college sports guy, the business side of things and all this other stuff. There's games between now and then. And, like, one of them tonight is Duke at Ole Miss. And then tomorrow we got North Texas is playing Texas State in this First Responder Bowl. And there's also the Mayo Bowl, Minnesota and Virginia Tech. Like, do you have any interest in this? I mean, like, how these things exist still today, but, like, there's no handle on this as far as the sportsbook goes. Like, how much longer are we going to have bowls between the playoff games?
I mean, as long as there is a business reason to have these games, we'll have it. It's obviously good for us. We have things to talk about and things to wager on. But and ESPN and other networks, mostly just ESPN now, have games to air. So they're going to get ratings out of it. Now, obviously, the difficult part now, as opposed to just, say, 4 years ago, is that there are so many guys hitting the transfer portal and opting out of games. It's very difficult, even for people that are following this day in, day out, to understand how many people are not going to play in the game. It's why these spreads swell. Right now, Duke is down 14-0. It's a 28.5-point spread. You guys mentioned earlier two touchdowns tomorrow. On the next day, two touchdowns tomorrow, and then tomorrow night, it's a 9-point spread. So
Minnesota's a 9-point favorite. Like, how can that be? How bad can Virginia Tech be with, hitting the transfer portal? Minnesota can't be favored over 9 over Topeka High.
ACC about to be 1-9, I think, if Duke drops this. 1-9 in bowl games.
Ooh, wow. And would they get smashed in the what was the Big 12, or was it the SEC college basketball head-to-head thing? They went like 1-9 as well. So it's not been a good couple of weeks for the ACC. That is for sure. Did you have anything on this game? You're right. That line is 27.5 now for a 17-point favorite. For them to kind of move the pendulum down the field. Do you like anything tonight with this one at this point, or anything tomorrow?
I mean, the only thing you would like going into a game like tonight is Jackson Dart to throw for 1,000,000 yards, right? And it looks like Duke's not going to be able to contain him. And with a combo like Lane Kiffin and Jackson Dart, excuse me, he's just going to let him throw. Let him throw the entire night and just light up the scoreboard before he hits the portal again or hits the NFL draft or whatever he's going next.
All right, keep it there, Mike. We'll get Mike's thoughts on the NFL when we come back.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Dave for an hour and change. Talking some NFL now with our good buddy Mike Blute, who you see all the time here on the Grid. One of our colleagues said, speaking of crazy lines as we were with the college football, Mike, how about the Baltimore Ravens on Saturday against Cleveland? That line is up to 19 and a half.
20 in Vegas.
20 in Vegas? What's the highest, Dave? 21? Have we seen a 21 before in a regular season game?
Yeah, New England, when they were in that perfect season.
Right.
We had to, it was almost like throwing up the white flag. We could not get a single bet on New England. There were weeks where literally it didn't matter what we made the number. And I remember we went to 21 and got a guy to come in and make a limit play, and they didn't cover. The dog didn't cover. New England covered. But then they caught up at the end. So the 17 and a halves, the 18 and a halves. I don't remember a bigger spread, though, in recent history, Mike. Do you? I really don't.
No.
And is there any reason you could take Cleveland? Seriously.
No. And the bets that you would want to make, the ones that I've been hitting on the last couple of weeks, are Browns team total unders. And that's not even posted right now. I don't know if they are going to post it. I wouldn't post it. But it can't be any worse offensively than it was with DTR, with Bailey Zappi coming in. You know the Ravens are going to put up a big number. I think you try to find a Ravens team total, and then that's your bet. You know, that I wouldn't even really mess with the 19 and a half if I can get a Ravens team total. They've been hitting it consistently. They are crushing. They are a very good team to bet team totals on across the board. The last few weeks in a row, I'll give them to you right now. They had 31 against Houston, 34 against Pittsburgh, 35 against the Giants. They didn't get it against the Eagles, but 30 against the Chargers. And consistently, their team total gets posted around 28, 27 and a half, 28 and a half, somewhere in that range. So if you can find it, bet the over. This one will probably be over 30, though.
Mike, as far as the grid, you and I are the resident Steeler guys, along with Pharrell. It's nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me all the time. It never turns into daylight. It never changes, but it's there. The Steelers are home dogs in a game that they're playing. I mean, the Ravens are going to win. So the Ravens are going to win a division. But the Steelers are playing to not go to Baltimore. They don't want to go to Baltimore in the opening round. They win the game, and they go to Houston. That seems like a much better path, doesn't it? And does that mean they're going to win on Saturday night?
Well, I don't know that there's much of a path for them anymore, considering the way they played offense, 10, 17, and 13 points in an 8-day span. It was a very tough schedule, and they're coming out of it playing against a team that they scored 44 points against just a month ago, not even really a month ago. So the reality for them is they have to get back on track offensively. Enough with the complaints about Pickens been out. It's not about that. They have to pick up first downs, not turn the ball over, and be good on third down. These short yardage stuff has been a bugaboo for them all year. The high point of the season was when they scored 44 points against Cincinnati. They were 10-3 and think life was good. But now they're going to have to figure out a way to stop Joe Burrow, who's been lighting it up himself, and they're playing for their lives. They may not get in anyway, Cincinnati. They probably won't get in, but they're going to be happy to go out there and light it up. And you remember in that game, the Steelers consistently had a lead against Cincinnati, but they could never really put them away. It wasn't until the end of the game when they can run out the clock where you finally could breathe easy. But this will be an interesting one. The fact is, though, Steelers as home dogs, Tomlin as a home dog, he's money.
How about a couple of weird favorites, at least one weird favorite and a couple of low underdogs? Tennessee, which has covered only 2 games all year, is now all of a sudden favored to beat the Houston Texans, laying 1.5 points. And then even the Buffalo Bills being only a 2.5-point favorite over the New England Patriots. And the Giants as well getting only 3, Mike, against Philadelphia. I mean, I just don't see any reason. I know the Giants won last week, so you can throw that back in my face. But why in the world would the Giants, Patriots, and Titans at this point, with a chance to get the number 1 overall pick, actually win these games? And that's what they're being asked to do, basically, with these lines.
Obviously, in week 18, this stuff is going to be really tricky. It's all based on the fact that the books, and Dave, you have experience in this, don't really know how to set it when you have guys that have not taken first team snaps all year that are actually going to start. Now, Tanner McKee for the Eagles last week did get first-team reps as out of necessity because Hurts and then was out and Pickett got knocked out. But you're going to have no Barkley. You're going to have receivers on the side for the Eagles. So that one kind of makes sense in that they're not playing a lot and there's nothing to play for. The Giants, to their credit, played pretty hard last week. But do you expect a second good Drew Lock game in a row? Here's a Drew Lock stat, by the way. How about this? Got to give him a shout out. 5th player in NFL history with at least 300 passing yards, 4 touchdown passes, 1 rushing touchdown, and a passer rating of 155 or higher in a game. He joins Josh Allen, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Fitzmagic. Ryan Fitzpatrick did it.
Wow.
So do I expect another performance like that out of Drew Lock? Absolutely not. I think it's a close one. But I don't think that's the one. I think that's where I'm racing to the window to place my money this week.
I'm secretly hoping that Saquon decides to go and break one off and get the rush, go for the rushing title in that game against him. But he's not going to play.
It would be really stupid.
I know, but like that's sports and that's fun. And if anybody finds out that he's going to try to do that, watch that prop. You know, he's out. They're not playing. That's fine. You talked about.
By the way, I bet on the Titans last week, Scott. I bet on the Titans last week as a money line underdog. I thought Mason Rudolph could beat Mac Jones, and it didn't work out.
It's like a confessional admitting that right now to everybody. I bet on the Titans, and it was no good. That's okay. That happens.
Should be a T-shirt.
This is like the preseason, Mike. It's a disaster. You got 30 seconds. Give me one game that's going to win. Denver going to win?
Oh yeah, Denver. I think Denver, and you bet. How about a Carson Wentz interception? You know that's going to happen.
Whoa!
And you take the Chiefs team total under if they post it.
Interesting. Okay. Chiefs getting double digits. How about that? Mike Floyd. Mike, great job as always. We'll do it again soon. Black Cloud coming up next.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
Like they may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today. They cover.
So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480? I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all people.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Told you I love the NHL card. We got our SGP in the NHL with Calgary and Utah, and we got our Black Cloud play of the day in the NHL. Yeah, there's 4 or 5 plays today that we could have chose from. I just, they're all not going to win. I get that, but boy, I'd be surprised if this one didn't win. We're going to head out to San Jose, and this brings in the greatest sports axiom of all time, bar none, the coup de grace, the creme de la creme. And that is, as we know, on my cocktail glasses that you can buy on my website, oh, by the way, winners bet with streaks, losers bet against streaks. Let's go against the best. Let's go against San Jose, Dave. They have lost 8 straight. They're 1-11 their last 12. And they're taking out a Tampa Bay team that's playing well and is coming off an embarrassing home loss. It's like the perfect storm. It really is. I got a Detroit team in San Jose. I got a Tampa Bay team that's 6-2 their last 8, but for whatever reason, it's the holidays. They weren't ready to play. They lost, I think it was 5-2 or 6-2 to Montreal at home. And now they're coming off that performance. How does Tampa Bay not win this game? We're not going to lay the minus 250. We'll go regulation. Even that's a hefty price, minus 175. But I do like playing these regulation games whenever possible. This is a pretty decent discount. I'll lay the 275 or the 175 versus the goal and a half. But Tampa Bay's got to win this game, right? There's no way they're losing to San Jose after losing to Montreal last game.
First of all, we need to get these glasses out to people right away. Not my listing glasses. These I listen to when you speak these knowledgeable things like winners bet on streaks, losers bet against streaks. We need to put that on T-shirts, glasses, and put it all on the Opposite Picks website and get those things out to the people in 2025. Yes. It's a great idea. Another great idea is not laying the puck line in this game. When I saw the graphic, I went, oh, no. Is he laying a goal and a half? No. Good. Because this might be a 1-goal game, and we might be up 2, and San Jose may get a late goal or something to make it a 1-goal game. But I'm excited for this one. We'll have something to watch, talk about after it's all said and done when we're off the air and Gabe and Cam are on, and Cam will be on later to talk about SJ Sharkey. There's trends. I mean, there's no trends that make you go, you know what? I want to take a shot tonight with San Jose. There it is right there. They've allowed the most goals in the NHL this season, 1-11 in their last 12 games, 8 straight losses. I mean, Wetzel, this will define the Black Cloud if this one doesn't win. Yeah. This will
and
be,
by the way,
right?
Out of those 11 losses, 10 in regulation. So they've had some 1-goal losses. That's why I don't like playing the goal and a half. But 10 in regulation. I mean, yeah, if this doesn't come through, then the Black Cloud is just too powerful. Well, I'll bow my head to the Black Cloud. If it's just like
we'll have to do something. It'll be like Pedro Serrano will have to get a live chicken. Something will have to happen. Yeah. My buddy Storm and Norman's watching right now, and land far away. He's sitting there watching the show, and he'll probably be going, you know what? If we're betting this, we should bet it more. And if we're taking bets on this, we should move the line. I don't know what. So this one, I haven't felt this confident all year about your Black Cloud play. Although this is the first show of the year. Yeah, this is the first show of the year. Right? Exactly. Yeah. How many? You got to be ready for those jokes. You know that the kids are on it already. Hey, I haven't seen you since last year, Daddy. I know. That's funny. That's good. Yeah. So
dopey but funny.
The play of the year. It's the play of the year.
It's the play of the year. Yeah. This is what the Scandy Cappers would do, right? They would do stuff like this. Our play of the year, it'll be the second day into the season. Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
So,
yeah.
It's kind of funny. We'll have more time other side, but I do like the Calgary Utah game. We got that in our SGP, like that. I mean, Colorado is playing great. They're hosting Buffalo, that stinks. Vegas at home, against Philadelphia, that stinks. San Jose, Tampa Bay, obviously. I mean, they're all not going to win, right?
I got off the plane today, and I went right to T-Mobile to try to get 5 tickets to go to the Flyers game against the Knights tonight. 5 tickets, and you buy them at the box office and they still put fees on it, which I couldn't believe. I will need you to think about this during the break. How much were 5 tickets all in the hockey game tonight in Vegas?
All right, I'll let you know when we come back.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
Like, they may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today. They cover.
So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480. I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoff.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It's hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza here on the grid. Scott and Dave until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Little in-game live. We will get to the action here, including a little college football. We got Ole Miss now 17-0 over the Dookie Pukies. With that, let's talk a little college football, a little NFL, get some thoughts on some of the games going on in the NBA and hockey tonight, as well with our good buddy Jeff Dawson, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. You see him all the time here on the grid. What's going on, Jeff, Scott, and Dave? How are you tonight, bud?
Happy New Year's, gentlemen. Doing well. I guess if you were betting the favorites in the big bowl games, 8-0 straight up, 8-0 outright, 7-1 against the spread. And hats off to Notre Dame and hats off to Dave Sharapan and his Nittany Lions. Great job.
Yeah, man, that was fun. I was down at the Fiesta Bowl. It was great. It took a long time to get them to cover. People in the stands were nervous, and they got the cover, and then they held on at the end. The game wasn't in doubt, but it was weird because there were definitely people openly rooting just to get the cover. All right, so those games are done, and we're going to look forward to the playoffs, and we'll ask you about that in a second. The games that are going on right now, like Duke is playing Ole Miss. You've been in this business a long time. You've been around this business a long time. How do you sell the next couple days of bowl games, JD? Because we got the Mayo Bowl, we got 13.5 with the first responder bowl. Like what do we do? Do you partake in any of these games, or are you kind of just like focused on the rest of the stuff now? And are your people looking at this?
Truth be told, Dave, we had Notre Dame first half. Rest versus rust has been a good trend in these bowl games. these other bowl games, we had a couple shows, and I think someone said it best. I forget who said it. These are like entertainment purposes only. I know you can wager on them, but you got the NHL going on. You got the college basketball going on. Like this game here that's going on right now, we were looking at the team total 19.5 first half for Ole Miss. And then the line kept dropping and dropping. It went to 17.5 juiced over. We stayed away. Go back a couple days ago, Alabama 18-point favorites against Michigan and a no-show. And here you're getting the same thing here, 17.5, 18. Expected Ole Miss to do this, third-string quarterback for Duke, but you just don't know in these bowl games, guys.
Yeah. How about the games that you will know about next week? Your initial thoughts. I won't hold you to this, but your initial thoughts, Penn State, Notre Dame, basically pick them, and then Ohio State 5.5 to 6-point favorite over Texas.
I'll go to Dave's neck of the woods first. We remember what we saw last. I've seen some Notre Dame's 1.5 with a 47. Like the Notre Dame-Georgia game, the numbers said to me, first one to 23 wins this game, and it was obviously Notre Dame there. I'm not expecting a shootout in the Penn State-Notre Dame game. I think this will probably close around 1.5, 2. I think, Dave, you got a live dog here. I really, really do. Win the turnover battle, the 1-2 punch in the running back spot. Like I said, first one to 23. I know everyone's going to be on Notre Dame. Dave, I lean Nittany Lions here. I do. If you can give me 2 points, 1.5, I will be jumping on the Nittany Lions here.
It's going to flip back and forth. It's going to be one of those ones that they're going to bet Notre Dame at first, and they're going to take the plus with Penn State. It'll flip back. It'll probably close Notre Dame, either pick or small favorite. The other game, though, JD, like we just had, blew it on. And I'll tell you what, I mean, the Rose Bowl is just such a spectacle. I've been there 3 times. I'm 1-2 as a Penn State guy. I saw them get smoked by USC twice. Ohio State smoked Oregon. That was just there's not anyone that thinks, I think right now, that Ohio State isn't beating Texas. I think they think that that's a 2-game parlay, that they're just going to – Texas is – Mike said it best. Texas has the best shot to beat them. But does Texas have any shot to cover in this game? You think they can beat Ohio State?
It's an inflated line. The actual number, the true number here is 4.5, and now we're betting into a 6.5. I don't think it will ever touch 7 here. Texas has got to find its running game. They were here in the Final Four last year, so the big stage is not a problem to them. This Ohio State team, the best thing that could have happened was the loss to Michigan. Now we've seen the real Ohio State team against Tennessee. We saw it against Oregon. I've never seen a team more deflated with their heads down in the first quarter. Never mind, they scored at the end of the half, and they scored to start the second half. But yet that late touchdown to make it 41, it was a wrap. If I'm betting Ohio State in that game, the only ticket that I would take was for them to win it all at that point, because I don't want to leave 6.5 and have it land on 3 or 4 and they win the game. So if you like Ohio State, take the short favorite price for them to win it all and see who they're going to face come in the championship game.
All right. Let's look a little NHL. We got 7 games going on. We got, 4 or 5 more that are going to start here before everything is said and done. We'll start with the games in progress. Jeff, anything on the board currently right now that you like?
If you're looking for an in-game spot, nice price now. Dallas closed at minus 189 against Ottawa, currently down 2-1, just starting the second period. I would take a shot at Dallas here to come back and get the win there. The other game, Boston and the Rangers. Again, Boston closed at minus 116, just start of the third there. I would take a shot there at the Bruins to come back and tie this, maybe an overtime 3-2 winner there. The 2 games that haven't started, there's a system play in Tampa and San Jose. Teams coming off a shutout loss. The over in the first period has been phenomenal. Now, this one's a little juicy, and you guys know I don't give out these big favorites, but it's minus 150 to the over in the first period, over 1.5. They're a little juicy there, but expecting at least 2 goals to be scored there. And then Vancouver and Seattle, they played to a 6-4 final not too long ago. The floodgates opened up in the third period, and they opened, and it's still a 5.5. So I'm going to play the contrarian play. This smells to holy you-know-what here, but I like the under 5.5 in this game. You scored 10 last time you met a week ago. Now you're going to give me a 5.5. No banana in the tailpipe here. I'll take the under 5.5.
I will tell you this. I will tell you this before you hop in there, Dave. The last 11 meetings between Vancouver and Seattle, 10-1 over. Go ahead, Dave.
There you go.
There you go.
Sorry.
Winners bet on streaks, losers bet against streaks. Speaking of streaks, the same game parlay tonight has the Calgary Flames plus 105 at home against Utah. Wetzel pointed it out, put it in the same game parlay. JD, there it is right there. This one looks like it can't lose. And you know what that means. A lot of times there's something that gets you. But my God, Utah on the road, 5 in a row. They've lost just in general, but now they're favored on the road. Can you make a case for Calgary in 30 seconds?
They got me from a 5-0 day. We had a system play on them first period over. They scored 1 goal in that one. Here's what I'll tell you. There's some money pouring in on Utah right now. Right now at the circa, minus 132. So, Scott,
wow.
they must not have seen the parlay or nothing, but money is piling in right now on Utah.
That's strange. All right, we'll take a quick little break. We'll get Chet's thoughts on the NFL and NBA tonight. Get some winners from them. Maybe a little college basketball as well.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid, talking with Jeff Dawson, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. So we got some hockey winners from him. How about a little NBA? Not as quite a big board, Jeff, as we have in the NHL, but still a couple of games, some going on, a couple starting here in a little bit. Any NBA thoughts for tonight?
I look at Philly Golden State. Golden State opened up at 2, now 4.5. Next move back to a 4. 219.5 to a 217.5. I kind of like the under there, 217.5 with Philly and Golden State. Nothing really on the side there for either side there. Portland and the Lakers. Lakers opened at 8.5, now down to 7. Minus 5 cents. Next moves to 6.5. I kind of, believe it or not, like Portland plus the 7 here. 224, now a 225.5. I think there'll be a lot of scoring. If I had to go under or over there, I do lean to the over, the 224 or 225 that you can get there.
Before we get to the silly day of the NFL that's ahead for all of us on Sunday, we got to look at college baskets in the vaunted Big Ten matchup tonight with Maryland and Washington. That doesn't even sound right. Illinois and Oregon, also a Big Ten matchup. Nothing makes any sense. Billman was great for Illinois on the football field, but that one's screaming to me to take the dog, and I feel like they're going to get me hook, line, and sinker, JD. Either side or total in those vaunted late night, Thursday night, Big Ten West Coast matchups. Nothing makes any sense to me. Take it away. I got nothing.
Well, Maryland, usually on a Friday or a Sunday. If I had Biff's Almanac, guys, I couldn't, or tomorrow's results, I couldn't get them right. I tell you, I call them the Terps, and they turn into the Twerps. I go against them, and then they are the Terps. But a line that opened up at 6.5, now is 6. I actually would lean towards the Maryland side here. I think Vegas is trying to grab some Husky money there. I would lean Maryland minus the 6 there. Illinois and Oregon opened at 3, now 4.5. I would only play this one way, and that would be Illinois. But it looks like I could be on the wrong side there. You're going to give me a shot with this Illinois team that's been Jekyll and Hyde now. It's not that same Illinois team from the past couple of years ago. But I would take my shot with 4.5 here. Sprinkle a little beer and pizza money on the money line. Maybe try to get out of Eugene and steal a win there.
All right. NFL, Jeff, no Thursday action this week, but we got 2 Saturday games. Crazy spread. Baltimore laying 19.5 against Cleveland. And in Pittsburgh, as we've discussed here before, you came on the air, home underdog to Cincinnati. I mean, they may not be able to win the division, but they still have a chance to avoid Baltimore in the first round, which we would think, and not to mention not to want to go into the playoffs on a 4-game losing streak. I'm surprised they're a home dog to the Bengals. How do you see those 2 games?
Opened at 17.5 and at 20. And Dave would say back in the day, it doesn't matter what the number is. That's all. It's Ravens, Ravens, Ravens. Bailey Zappi to start for the Cleveland Browns. So first and foremost, I would take the Cleveland Browns team total under. I don't care what the number is. The Ravens have scored 100 points in their last 3 games, only allowed 31. Lamar will probably obviously not win the MVP. He'll probably go to Josh Allen here. It's Ravens early and often, and the Browns team total under for me on that one. Cleveland, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Dave, money's coming in on the Steelers. It opened at 2.5, now down to 1.5 with a 48. First 1 to 24 is going to win this game. I want to personally keep the Joe Burrow dream alive. I would love to see Joe somehow, some way get into those playoffs there. So I would be playing the Bengals money line here. I'm not going to leave a 1.5 on there and get hooked. So for me, I take a shot with Joe and the Bengals money line here, but would not be shocked at all if Pittsburgh gets out of this schneid here and says, Joe, get ready for OTAs. Your season's over.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's going to win that game. They have to win that game. I feel like just for their mental state and everything, they got to get right at least one more time before the playoff game. And you got to avoid the Ravens. Otherwise, they are a quick in and out. They're not going to Baltimore and winning the first playoff game. It's just not happening. You're up in New England area. The they're playing Buffalo. I don't even know who's playing quarterback for Buffalo. The line doesn't even look right because it says Buffalo minus 2.5 everywhere. Total's 38, 37.5. I mean, what the hell, JD? They got to lose. They get the number one pick. Everything's fixed. They're not going to go and win this football game, are they?
Last year, Christmas Eve in Denver, they kick a winning field goal, a walk to win that game, and it cost them Jaden Daniels. Okay, not that Drake May's no slouch here. So now you're sitting here. Josh Allen's going to probably play the first quarter. Drake May will probably play the first 2 or 3 series. They're going to bring in Bazooka Joe Milton to play probably the last 3 quarters here. We're going to do everything in our power to lose this game, get the number one pick, and then, of course, trade down to the Giants or the Raiders, whoever wants Shador or Cam Ward. So, yes, we don't want to win this game. If I'm looking at strictly at a numbers, it's still 2.5 with a 38. This one, well, how about a nice 17-16 final? That's where I got this one at.
Yeah. How about all the unders on these games, Jeff? You know, we were talking before about Tennessee in the same situation. You know, Giants go 3-3 last year with Tommy Cutlets. That cost them a chance to draft in Jaden Daniels as well, if we look at their overall picture. So maybe they're dumb enough to do it again, but are we going to get 37 to 40 points in these games with all these third stringers?
Let me see. I'll go from the bottom to the top. 38.5, 36. There's a 46.5, 42. But the unders of the play and the one over is the game of the year. I mean, it's the 8:30 game or 8:20 on Sunday. Minnesota and Detroit. When's the last time that we saw a 56.5? Roll the ball out. First one to 31 wins.
Yeah, that should be a great game. Jeff, great job as always. We'll talk soon, I'm sure.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
Like, they may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today, they cover.
So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480. I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, game day here on the grid. Again, thanks, Jeff Dawson, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com for all his picks. Do appreciate a couple of winners that he gave us tonight, including some hockey stuff. And, oh, by the way, I will say hockey news. Dallas tied up Ottawa 2-2, so he suggested a little play on the Dallas Stars. Boom. We got Minnesota tying up the Capitals 3-3. So Florida's tied up Carolina 1-1. I'm looking for a goal out of the Bruins down 2-1. He suggested that as well. They're getting plus 430 with 7.5 minutes left. And I have, how about that? I was going to say, Dave, I had a minute and a half left for Utah and Calgary for someone to score the first 10 minutes. And unfortunately, it's not Calgary, but beggars can't be choosers. Utah scores at the 9. Let me see the exact time. Where are we here? Hold on a second. Survey says, I think it was 9:12. At the 8:51 mark, the Utah Coyotes score. So my SGP is alive and well. 1-0.
You're going to confuse everybody calling them. You're going to confuse everybody calling them the Utah
Coyotes.
All right,
it's the Coyotes.
All right,
that's
fine. The Red Wings are up 4-3 too, by the way. So that game's over. So that over the total, but not over.
Yes.
Maple Leafs is my in-game play right now for anybody watching. They're cheap price against the Islanders. They scored a next goal. You're looking really good. You're only laying 120, at least right now. So Sabres and Avalanche underway. We still got those 3 games. The game, Flyers are at the Golden Knights. I talked about it earlier. Right. I literally got off the plane. And you know, how did the kids do this to you, like, or the wife? Like, I literally just got to the car. I was away for a couple days. I went to see my nephews. My brother-in-law Smoke and my sisters. My mom is down in Arizona. It was great. Spent a lot of family time, went to the game. I hadn't even started the car yet. I'm getting a call like, hey, can you see about getting us tickets to the Knights game tonight? We want to go see the Knights play the Flyers and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, I can't go until after the show. I got to see Wetzel. I got to see Vinny and Matt and the boys. Like, we got a show to do tonight. They said, all right, go check. So I drove right to the box office, like old school. You know, pocket full of cash. I'm going to pay cash for the tickets, and there's no fees, right? There's fees on the tickets even when you buy them right there. So I say I need 5. I need 5, which is an odd number. You can't get 5 tickets together anywhere. Yeah. So the first thing she says is you got to do 3 and 2. I can't put 5 together. I said, okay, we'll figure it out. The girls will sit together. Maybe me and the wife will sit together. Who knows? Maybe we'll hold hands. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I said, how much? What's your number? 5 tickets, not against the glass, but not in the last row.
Right.
You know, moderate seats with fees included, family of 5. What's your number? What was the number hit you with?
I'm going to guess about $100 more than what I would. So I'm going to guess $700 bucks.
Okay. Very good.
About 100 a piece.
Tickets
$20, you know, so I was going to say 600, but I'll go even higher than that. I'll go 700.
$125 a ticket and $20 a fee for each ticket. So 145 times 5, 7.25. I called 7.25 to see an out of conference game in the middle of the week against the Flyers. I said, I sent my oldest a text and said, do you guys really want to go to this game tonight? Like, because we could do a lot for 725. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you know, and then I texted the wife and I said, here's the number. What do you think? And she said, you know what? Check on Buffalo Saturday night. Yeah, she said, check on the Buffalo ticket on Saturday night. I said, maybe we got a shot. Maybe the Buffalo game will be less. $725 for 5.
And how do they charge you
a drink? That's not a food.
Drink.
I'm looking at a dime.
Program.
A dime for a family of 5. A dime.
For a regular season game. Yeah. And how do they justify fees when you're walking to the window?
Oh, I was hot. I said, this can't be up right here. What's the fee? It's me and you. I'm going to give you the money, and you give me the tickets. What's the fee for? Well, there's fees everywhere, sir. Well, not tonight. Not for me. So, not
it's criminal. Those fees are just criminal. Should be outlawed. It really should. Wow. All right, more SPB, same game parlay, Black Clouds, in-game live, all here on the grid.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
Like they may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today, they cover. So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480? I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, game day here on the grid. Let's run down some of these hockey games that are going to be starting, or it did just start, Dave, here in a couple of moments. Buffalo and we talked Anaheim, Winnipeg. Buffalo, Colorado just underway. All right, Buffalo, the fewest points in the Eastern Conference. Colorado's won 5 in a row, 10-2 their last 12 against Buffalo. Buffalo's only 2-11 their last 13 games as an underdog, which is basically what they are. Overall, 6-15 their last 21 games. 3-7 their last 10. I'm a little surprised. Again, maybe backup goaltender, but when I read all these notes, like I try and do this stuff the night before, so a lot of times before the lines come out. So I'm picturing, all right, seeing all these trends, right? Colorado's going to be what at home minus 250, 260, something goofy like that, right? Minus 178. They're scoreless in the first period, 6 minutes left. It's basically the original number. Little surprised that line was so low, to tell you the truth.
Backup goalie. A lot of times you got to be careful with these, right? You get the backup against a bad team, right? So you lower the number. I mean, that's what we used to do, so I'm just trying to think it out without looking. If you're probably, it would have been over 2-1 normally, but then you catch, the backup goalie in there and somebody takes it, against it, and you have to bring the number back down. So that'd be the only explanation that I got for that game. But there's games like that, I don't know. We're talking about handle, and you'd asked me that before about Notre Dame, Penn State, or what'd you say, a first-round NFL game?
First-round NFL game, yeah.
It's the first-round NFL game because it's a weekend.
Really?
The weekend games, standalone. So college football has done a lot of good things, and they've changed a lot of things and all this. These two games are standalone weekday games, which is fine to isolate them away from the NFL because we saw it last week. They went head to head against the NFL with the first round playoff games. And now, granted, it was Kansas City, and it was who else? I forget who, but they were marquee games, big name teams. Oh, it was Baltimore and Pittsburgh. That's right. Yeah, it was Kansas City. So they don't want to be against them ratings wise, but handle wise, the games that do the most handle usually are on the weekend. So it's gonna be the NFL game on the weekend.
I'll say this, and no offense to Penn State, but if you said to me, give me 4 teams that obviously you're good, so the fan bases are all riled up. You give me 4 teams in college football that's going to generate the biggest ratings. Notre Dame would obviously be number 1. You need a blue blood like Ohio State or Michigan. They would be number 2.
Okay.
Texas, to me, would be in there just because it's Texas, right?
Yeah,
I'd probably throw Alabama in there, but, Penn State's not a bad consolation prize, because the Alabamas are fine. Washington, Clemson, those are all football names. I get it, but Penn State is like the Eastern Conference. If you don't live in the East, there's no football team in Jersey worth note outside of Rutgers. There's no football team in New York City. And Syracuse is not even close to New York City. There's nothing. The one school that encapsulates the East Coast is Penn State. So you got Penn State, you got Notre Dame, you got monsters, Texas and Ohio State, which again to me are bigger than even Alabama, believe it or not, especially without Nicky Quick in there.
Yeah.
So whatever ratings they get this year, this is the pinnacle. This is the best you'll ever like. If you gave me 4 slots, these would be at least 3, if not 4, of the teams I'd put in those slots for the best ratings.
Without a doubt, you're a very wise man. You're absolutely right. I think this is going to do a monster handle, a monster rating. They're going to be big games. I really, really hope they're competitive. And I think the Penn State-Notre Dame game will be on Thursday. I don't think that Ohio State can play a more perfect game than they did, but they can overpower Texas, and that one might get away on the Friday night game. But I don't know. You're right. They drew it up. Everybody got on the committee for the way they drew the brackets and the way they put the teams here and who got this by and all these other things. They ended up with 4 monster programs, monster, like you said, regions. Texas is taking the whole South and the Southwest or whatever, and you got the pocket of the Midwest from Penn State to Ohio State to Indianapolis or Indiana, the state of Indiana with Notre Dame, who's everywhere. It's perfect. It's perfect. This is going to be fun. We got a week's worth of content. I go back and think about the games that I went to at Penn State with Notre Dame, and like Ricky Waters, Rick Meyer, Jerome Bettis came in there and beat them. And man, those were just like all timers. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that. Have you ever dressed up in the Notre Dame leprechaun? Like, are you that big of a fan? Like, we might have put you in that thing. Come on.
No.
No.
You know what? Seeing Carver in some of his shows with Scotty, with that green jacket that he has,
he's got that green jacket.
Yeah, he's probably a little more suited than me.
We got to get Carver on the show at some point. We got to get Carver on this show to talk about this stuff. I'm getting all the Notre Dame fans to come on this week. Anyone that's a Notre Dame fan, you want to come on, we'll get in touch with you. Tweet at us.
I get it. I get you. You're trying to do the bad karma. I get it. Pump up Notre Dame. I get it.
Come on.
No ploy here. I understand.
We need it all. We need it all. Who's the home team in that thing? Who gets to wear what jersey?
Good question.
I want to wear the blue. I want to wear the blue.
Yeah. I don't like the all white stuff. That's kind of goofy. How much are those tickets? Speaking of tickets, what do you think those tickets are going for? Now, again, you're asking, at least Notre Dame had a home game. Penn State had to travel twice. So it's tough to ask a Penn State fan to travel 3 times, right? I mean, but what do you think those tickets will go for?
I don't know. I was at the game at the Fiesta Bowl, and it was 80-20 Boise to Penn State fans. It wasn't even close. It was packed with the Boise people because it's a closer trip, and they were an 11-point favorite. All my buddies from back east were going, you know what?
Money.
We're not going to Arizona. We're going to Florida. We're saving up for Florida. It's a quicker trip. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a huge ticket. But don't forget, Texas, they're playing that game in the Cotton Bowl in Jerry's World. I mean, that's going to be a monster ticket down there.
Yeah. How much are those? I got to get my boy Rafi tickets. Part of the podcast. He's a tickets broker. See if he's got some tickets and see how much of a discount do you think he's willing to give us? What do you think, Rafi? With 50% off? instead of making $3,000
I'm not even asking
a ticket.
for 50% off. No, this is a big deal. Look, these things you gotta take advantage of it when you're in this business. You got to take advantage of it when you get a hot ticket like this, because you get a lot of you get a lot of Vancouver, Seattle tonight, or Tampa Bay and San Jose and SJ Sharkey, which, we're going to talk to Cam. I know Cam's been a big fan of SJ Sharkey for a while, but there's not even a case. He's not going to come on here and make a case for SJ Sharkey tonight. Can't do it. I won't let him. It's not possible. It's the Black Cloud play of the night. Tampa in regulation. We can't have that. Yeah, we can't have that.
Can't do that. He can't be. He's got to have a New Year's resolution. No more betting on San Jose, Tennessee Titans, Washington Wizards. No more 3-leg money line parlays that pay 150 to 1 on a $1 bet. You can't do that. I can't do it.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
They may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today. They cover.
So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480. I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this bet than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave for another 15 minutes or so. Cam Stewart, Gabe Morency, top of the hour for the next 3 here on the grid TV and radio-wise. So with that, let us bring in our good buddy Cam Stewart. He's got some hockey plays, maybe a little golf, maybe a little NBA. We'll see what else is on his plate and a little preview, a little college football as well. What's going on, Cam? How are you tonight, bud?
Good, Scott. Things have been going pretty good. I had Notre Dame. I hear you guys talking about the leprechaun. Yeah, Carver, he wears that like leprechaun suit and those green ties and stuff like that. He is Notre Dame. If he wasn't a bigger man, like if he was smaller, I'd definitely say he's a leprechaun. But Notre Dame was good to me today with the under. We cashed that ticket. I was on with Ranieri. That Ohio State game blew my mind. But I need Dave, you don't see me do this very often, lay 17 points, but I did with Ole Miss, and I have the over in this game. So far, so good at the half. I would lay it down with Ole Miss live. As crazy as that sounds, I think they might just blow these guys out of the field here. Like, I know it's nuts. It's 23.5 on one book to juice, 24.5 on my other one to plus 105. I would take it at either or. I like both. I think Ole Miss wins this game by like 30. And live hockey, give me the Utah Hockey Club minus 125 against Calgary. The Prime Minister, as Pharrell calls me, betting against Canadian teams. Watch out for the Islanders over the Leafs. I think they can win that game. It's tied at 1 right now. I know, Dave, I've lost my mind. Buffalo's up 2-0, so we'll pass. I'm on them from the get-go. Maybe we can get a go. Colorado plus 2. You know what? Ooh, yeah, Wetzel, you got me interested. Colorado plus 1.5. Can we middle this bad boy? Minus 120. Maybe if Buffalo gets another goal. And what else am I looking at right now? Oh, yeah, by the way, all you guys, Canada World Juniors, we're in the quarterfinals here. Chechnya is beating Canada 3-2. Canada live. They were down 3-1. I took them live. They are plus 182. And the ref is just calling no goal as Canada just flew into their goaltender there. But I need this. If they lose this game to the Czech Republic, a.k.a. Chechnya, Dave, I told you it was bad before with Latvia. Slap. But these guys can't get out of this round. Because they a lot of controversial picks on this team. By the way, me and Morency, we have futures on Team USA because you can't say we're homers as Canadians. No do to boot it. We want money. I don't care what country you're from. I don't care if you're from the Czech Republic, Latvia, Sweden, Finland, or wherever the hell you're from, the former Russia. I don't care. Cash tickets. Right, Wetzel? Money has the international language. Money. I don't care if it's rubles. As you say, Wetzel, my green American dollars or the Canadian holograms that are filled with every color of the rainbow. Don't care. Let's just cash tickets. Let's rock, fellas. Dave, we have a problem with the college system. We've talked about it. Here's the deal. Oregon, too, playing at the Rose Bowl. We got to do something different. Like, here's the deal. They're a 1 seed. Know what I think they should do? This is my opinion. I think they should do it like the FBS. Home teams for the games. Home teams. Home teams. Like they do North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana State. Home teams. Why are you a 1 going on the road and doing all that stuff? People are like, are you crazy? Just rearrange everything. And we can't. The only real underdog that had a chance in this stuff was Arizona State. We took the points. They could have won outright. But if you told me at the start that Notre Dame, Penn State, Ohio State, and Texas, you don't think we'd have those 4 cards on our ballot? You're damn right we would. Those are 4 of the best teams in college football. The cream always rises to the top, right? So this whole experiment's been kind of a dud, in my opinion. It needs to be restructured.
Before I ask if you can find something to be excited about for the NFL either Saturday or Sunday, if you're excited about either one of these bowl games tomorrow, the First Responder Bowl or the Duke's Mayo Bowl, Minnesota laying a big number against Virginia Tech, and Texas State laying a gigantic number. I can't believe it.
I know.
Against North Texas. Is that something you get involved in, or you kind of shutting it down pretty much for the college football other than the playoff games?
We never shut it down, Dave. At Morency Stewart Enterprises at night, he'll be betting Cal Northridge basketball. Come on, what are you talking about? You like betting? Come to the place. I'll be playing Chinese horses after the show. You know me. I win all my money, and then I sit there at night having a glass of wine going, oh, in Australia, they're running the wrong way around the track, but I'll bet it. That's the way we rock, Dave, here at SportsGrid. We love to have fun. And I'm going to tell you this, have no picks in those games, but me and Ranieri were on, and we slammed Buffalo in the Bahamas Bowl already. Bahamas, Buffalo over Liberty. Bulls. Not Bills. Buffalo Bulls. That's our play. So, I just think they're a better team. I think Liberty stinks. They had a horrible year. I just like Buffalo getting motivated for this game. win one for the Gipper. I just think this is a team. I'm very impressed with the MAC in the bowl game so far, Wetzel. They've been playing really, really well. I know they're a small favorite. You could take on the money line or whatever, but me and Joe Ranieri both talked about it. Buffalo's a tougher team. They have a running game, and I think they'll beat Liberty. I know Liberty was all hyped at the start of the year, but I'm with Buffalo. I've already bet that game.
Can you make a case for the 20 that you're getting with the Cleveland Browns against the Ravens on Saturday?
No, I can't, Dave, and you know me. I love dumpster diving. I'm not taking after watching Cleveland play Miami, watching DTR in that offense can't score right. No, there's no way. It's like I don't even know what you could do with Cleveland in that game, Dave. And I'm going to tell you, I bet your Steelers at 3. It's down to 1.5, 2 in some spots. I got a really good opening number. I think Pittsburgh beats Cincinnati. I've already bet your Steelers in that game. That's one of my picks that I like for the NFL. What was the other one I was looking at? I know there was another stupid dog. I like the Jets over Miami. Sorry, Wetzel. But
how about Carolina?
How about Carolina? Scott, I love you, buddy. You know we're back. Yeah. Is Cam's Cats? Meow, meow. You give me 8 meows with Carolina, I am in. A box of tender vittles. Atlanta laying that kind of number, I think Carolina can play with them, Scott. I'm with you. If Atlanta wins, I think they win between 3 and 6, maybe 7. But the line's 8. I will take 7.5 here. But it's 8 on all my books. I will take Carolina all day, all night.
Yeah.
What about the big game? What about the Sunday night game? Minnesota and Detroit is just an absolute monster game. 56 for the total.
What do we do here? You can't bet the under. Watching that Lions defense get. Honest to God, San Francisco marching up and down the field. If Purdy doesn't airmail 2 balls and Moody could kick, they would have won the game outright. Detroit's defense is horrid. You got Hawkinson, Addison, Jefferson, good running game. I don't know what to do. And yet, I'm feeling everyone's going to be on Minnesota. This game scares the crap out of me. How do we bet the under? I don't know how we do it, guys. I can't. Yeah. I can't. I believe in Minnesota. Oh, yeah. I like that, Wetzel. I think they get 31, and I think Detroit probably gets about 30. It's going to be a crazy game. And if it goes under, so be it. That's it.
Cam and Gabe, top of the hour. Great job, Cam. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.
Love you guys.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
They may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today, they cover.
So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480. I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this bet than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Thanks again to Cam Stewart joining us, as he always does. Him and Gabe will take over top of the hour for the next 3 here on the grid. So last opportunity to put a couple of plays in with the boys in Vegas, Dave. We'll start the NHL since we've been concentrating on that. Got some actually decent games. Colorado's down 2-0, believe it or not, to Buffalo. You get the Colorado plus 215 after one. That's not a bad little play. My SGP's not doing too bad. After one, Calgary did score. They tied up Utah 1-1. So that's in play. We got a goal the first 10 minutes. That's a winner already as far as that parlay goes. Cadre already has 3 shots on goal, so that's a winner as part of that parlay. So we just need Calgary to win, Backlund to get 2 shots on goal. I think he has 1, and then Keller to get 2 shots on goal. He doesn't have any for Utah. So, and I do like the over. To me, is the play. This was almost a black cloud. Seattle and Vancouver. I know Jeff liked the under. He took a little hunch on that, 5.5. But 10-1 over last 11 meetings when these two teams get together. 10-1 over Vancouver as a favorite as they are tonight. Give me the over 5.5. I love playing overs and 5.5s anyway.
I like it. I like it a lot. I like under in the Flyers and Knights. I think your Sharks and Lightning game goes over as well. I think the Black Cloud wins. Lightning, if you take this one down, again, it's the play of the year, and it's only a day into the year. It's our first show of the year. Yeah, this is good. Black Cloud play of the night right there. Lightning in regulation. What did you do for New Year's? Did you go out? Did you make it up to midnight? You didn't even go. You did you make it up until midnight? You didn't even stay up?
Yeah, I definitely stayed up. But the football game was on. It was like a regular night for me. It's amateur night. So the wife and kids went to my father-in-law's house, a couple miles away. I stayed up and watched the Penn State game, did some computer work. Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy.
No.
So you have anything big? What'd you do? Something crazy?
I was at the bowl game, New Year's Eve in Arizona. And then after that, it was like a post celebration. And then, we had a bunch of people over at my sister's house to kind of ring in the new year, and surrounded by kids. They were banging pots and pans and blowing those horns all night. The poor dogs. It's like a fireworks show nonstop out west. I mean, like they started, the sun is not even down, and everybody was lighting fireworks. So it was a long night, but it was fun. It was fun. And then, we ended up at the DraftKings Sportsbook, made friends. The boys there said to say hello to you. They asked me when we were coming down to do a show, because they put us on. We're pretty good in the West Coast. We're on 8 to 10 Eastern, but we're on West Coast time, Mountain time, 6 to 8. So they got us on in the book. And they recognized me. I went up to cash my tickets after the Monday Night Football game. And they're like, hey, man, recognize you. You're the consig guy on SportsGrid, aren't you? And I said, yeah, I am. And they said, nice. Is that other guy with you? That Wetzel guy, the opposite picks guy? And I'm like, no. And they said, well, how about the other bald guy? I'm like, who? Who are you talking about? The Italian guy. I'm like, oh, Morenzi? Yeah. Yeah. So it was fun. We made some good contacts there. So if you want to go to the Waste Management Open, it's literally right across the street. We got the hookup. They'll set us all up. They said come down. So I told Vinny,
nice.
If Matty D wants to come, we'll hook it all up. We made all the contacts. So,
cool.
Get in the jet and come down. It's nice weather usually. It's pretty good. Yeah.
2 things before we go. First off, a quickie. Golden State, Philadelphia over-under is up to 220. That was 216.5. Then it went to 218.5. Now it's at 220. Golden State's a monster under team. That's interesting. Yeah. That's that high.
It's officially the start of the NBA. It started on Christmas. I mean, that's the theoretical start. But expect lines to move differently now. The football's done. I mean, like we got 2 big college games left and then 1 big college game left. NFL this week, it's like preseason. and then we get the silly season, with the playoffs. So expect the NBA numbers to move a little differently. We'll move more aggressively. At least that's what we used to do. The Stars are winning, by the way. The Stars are up.
Stars are up 3-2. There you go. Jeff gave us that. We'll be back tomorrow night, 8 to 10. Opposite picks tomorrow as well. Good job, Dave.